Welcoming you all to the Ascension Alchemists podcast. This is our combined episode. I'm Reverend Honey Borden.
And I'm Michael Abramson.
We are delighted to have you here as we come together every other week and bring what is in our heart, and as always in raw, real way. So welcoming all of you to this special episode. And we call it special episode as it is right before we are shy, let's say 10 days before the spring equinox, which takes place on Friday, March 20th. And there are a few things in our hearts that we want to share with you. And before doing so, let's just go ahead and welcome you. Thank you so much. This podcast is a community podcast. You are all part of this journey that we are embarking, that we are walking as we align with mighty God presence and we live through that embodiment of the truth and all the things that we face along the way. That is part of it: the good, the bad, the ugly, and the amazing, the fantastic, the phenomenal. This is the human journey. And as we share, give voice to things that are hidden, as also voice to things that are visible, we bring these into this place of awareness through this podcast. So you also have permission, give yourself permission to be your authentic true self and be the fullest expression that God Almighty made you, especially in everything that you're experiencing. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
We thank you for taking the time. We're always grateful for those that have followed us and know that we really appreciate your comments, your feedback, and all that you share, because as Honey said, these are times where we get to be very open, very transparent, and authentic in what's happening. And what an amazing time we're in this shift, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, of moving from winter to spring.
Yes.
And a time that I feel has been a great journey of really cleansing, clearing, and letting go of the areas, whether physically, whether in our own possession of our belongings, or even within our patterns and beliefs, that we can release and make more space for this wonderful new spring that is among us.
Isn't it good, Michael, that every single year we get to do this?
We do, and I feel this year it took us by greater surprise, because who would have thought that yesterday we had a 85-degree day, which by surprise, or not by surprise as Honey would say it, she was like, Michael, this might be just the perfect time to shampoo the carpets, which she was like, hint, hint, weeks ago when we had I think a 65-degree day, cloudy and a bit out of temperature. But as I was laying in the park yesterday, catching some beautiful rays and feeling like the sun was a bit hot, I thought maybe my beloved would really appreciate if I just go and rent one of those carpet cleaners and just go for the rugs to put that beautiful smile on her face.
And I sure smiled. I sure smiled, Michael. You tickled my heart fancy, that's for sure.
Gentlemen, take note. One of the most important things in higher love relationships, or any relationship, is to note what your woman or partner really values and loves. Not only take note of it, make sure you not only practice it annually, but you surprise her, or at least put all of your effort into it. Because I will tell you, coming out of a couple of days cleansing and saying, okay, I'm still going to lift this heavy thing up 3 floors. I'm going to go grab it, even if the sun may be setting. Let's do this. And I put my heart, soul, and body into it. And
how many kisses did you get? Did you see all those kisses? Did you see how much gratitude was expressed? Did you see how much smile?
That was what I received. And I would tell the viewers, when your partner smiles from ear to ear, you know you've done something right for the day. And, by no accident does it happen. Because on a serious note, what I appreciate, Honey, is, you've told me many times, really pay attention to the things that I really value in life. And I understand how important it is to have a clean setting. And I recognized it yesterday when finishing it. And I think many that are in an environment that when it's clean and organized, you can really sense a different level of energy because
Yeah.
as I finished cleaning the carpets, it just felt like there was this new frequency of like, wow, everything is clean. Everything has been, let's just say, cleared. So it presents this whole new space, this whole new, let's just say, I like to say dimension, but like area that allows you to walk
Did you
in.
feel it inside of you or in the space in the living room?
I felt it within me because I felt like when I see it outside of me, it automatically makes me feel like I'm adjusting to a higher, cleaner space.
Yeah.
Like I feel like many people can see like I don't know if any of you like when you walk into a room that's very clean, all of a sudden it makes you feel inside like, wow, I feel like this is something that reflects what it's like inside to be in a very pure, clear state of
Yeah.
being.
So
And
this is why, like, remember I told you, I was like, Michael, the energy here, like, it needs to be clean. It
yeah,
needs to. I've been saying it for a couple of months. Like, I was like, we need to clean this
right.
because I experienced it
And,
deeply.
and I'm sure it's like any one of us when we walk into a room, and we all have it at times, there's no judgment, but when we walk into a room and there's, clothes hanging, there's, a disorganized statement, it sometimes feels
Clutter and
cluttered
dust
and dust and
or
disorganized.
spider webs, like,
So to clear everything
yeah.
and to open up space, what we see and what obviously Honi has been doing for the 10 years that I've known her is to prepare this space before the spring equinox that coincides with the Persian New Year. And the ability, when we really look at it, it's like we're clearing out the old and welcoming the new. And so as we do this, I invite the viewers, like in these next 10 days, what is it that you could clear out, whether physically, or what is it that you could choose to say, I no longer want to hold on to? Because I appreciate, Honi, how you've really helped me see, like, okay, look in the closet and just what clothes do you just not wear or it just doesn't feel like it's your new you or your $1,000,000 self or that authentic being that is you because we're here to raise into a greater version of ourselves? Or what areas in your car or in your desk can you clean,
But hold
organize, and
on,
get rid of?
we're gonna talk around real for a second. So it's been 10 years. The Persian New Year mean everything to me.
Yeah.
Like this is the one part that I absolutely love, getting everything ready. And over the years, you haven't really enjoyed so much the details behind and the cleaning that I go into, and it's like, and I remember the one year we did the cabinets in the kitchen, how organizing
No,
everything.
because
Oh my
sometimes
goodness.
because what happens is sometimes it's like very last minute, and before you know it, Honey's like, okay, today is the 19th, and tomorrow is the New Year, so
No,
we're
no, no.
gonna clear out
Usually, there's no
everything.
way we do it always. It has to be a couple of weeks before. It's been like
Not,
with this one, even a month. Michael, start with the closet, please. Like I've been saying it, like even beginning of the year. Michael, please, your card, this and that.
but
But let's
sometimes you
talk about
bring
this.
it.
Hold
Sometimes
a
you
minute.
bring
Hold
it
on, hold
like
on.
to an echelon higher than what it is. Sometimes like you go
No,
into
because
like,
so traditionally, just so that the viewers know, also traditionally, a full month before the 20th of March, we start. So traditionally every drawer gets rearranged. Anything that's not used gets put aside, and dust is a huge one. We have a cleaner that comes every week, so we don't really have dust, but still everything needs to get cleared. And on a different level, for me, that's one part, which is the traditional way, and for them it's all about to bring the new. You must get rid of old, you
right,
must give it away.
create
So this has
space.
been part of my culture for so many years. I grew up in this, so it means it has that much importance to me.
And the
On
West,
another
in the
level,
West, we do have that clean
spring
spring
cleaning.
cleaning, in which it's very common for us to, as winter shifts, it's that clearing out, cleansing, and purifying of the old so that we can move into that new spring level of
Right.
energy.
So ours goes just a bit more into the tradition. There's, as you know, there's so much more involved with it. How we prepare the food we eat, the way we set up the table, like all those details that goes because of the spring equinox. And what that really represents back to Zoroastrian times, around 7,000 years ago, what it represents, the spring that comes out, which is the lion. The lion has been able to get its roar out, its fire out, its light is out, the light over darkness. So that's what the symbology is about. That's what we cling. So we bring the awareness, we give it up so we can be filled with light, and in light in our lives, light in our families, light everywhere. So that's what it really represents. And for me, on a different level with us, as we came into 2026, as we've been sharing, is the year of celebration. So we already know this is already ordained, this is already taken place. God Almighty has blessed us, it's already put the steps behind, and it's already been given. So we don't even have to ask it, it's already been given. And we've been feeling it deep, right? We don't know what it exactly looks like, but yet we can experience it. But in order to be materialized into this plane, it cannot come when we have still clutter or we have things that we don't want. Why are we holding on to things we don't want? Why are we not opening up a space of what we want? So this becomes part of the emotions that also gets the opportunity to be cleansed, the mental thoughts that gets to be cleansed, because we have to utilize these towards the direction of our purpose. And when it is cluttered with these things that we don't really care for, we're not allowing ourselves to go into the celebration. Therefore, that which is awaiting for us to celebrate cannot become. So that's why I'm always behind it. So yesterday, as you saw me just jumping for joy, and you could feel, and what was amazing, because of the fire, right? The couple weeks before, we ended up like washing out the curtains beforehand, and we're like so ahead. It's 10 days. Like I'm just like, wow, look at us. This is amazing. We're doing amazing. And let's talk about also arrangement. So as Michael, as I shared with you before this, I was like, Michael, I feel like there's a change. We got to do a change. So of course I put the chairs up
Wait,
to be so.
pause. For
Okay.
anyone that knows Honey, and most people, when they usually create a room, it may last a couple months, maybe a year, maybe that's their setting. But Honey has this feeling where when she creates a seam, it's almost like a play. Well, actually, it really is a play, because the play has to be broken down every so often, where the furniture changes, plans change. And so I feel like there's a constant acts of play going in our living space, because after a couple of months, she's like, nope, I'm tired. Something has to shift. Something has to change, which requires moving furniture, moving every other item, and really saying, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Let's move this, because I'm ready for change.
Yeah.
And I like it, but sometimes it takes me by surprise, because usually when it happens, I either have several tasks, or the day before I did something big, and I was like, listen, I have a favor. Could you just move this? No, actually, could you just move this? What do you think about this? Actually, I'm getting this table here. What do you think about this? And I'm like usually having like a couple things, as today was a busy day, and there's this, no, one more last question. What do you think about, do you really think we should get this? And I'm like, honey, go for it, because now I recognize that like it doesn't matter what I say
You
or
have
what I
come,
do.
you really have come along. It's amazing. Yeah, because so
I realize if I ever
it's the energy again. So again, after you've seen me, I've changed on the inside. I'm a different person again. And just as you have, so the energy has to match. It's not matching. So it has to shift. And I know it as a place of frequency. So I have
So
no
let's ask our
attachment
viewers.
whatsoever.
I would like to
Yeah.
ask our viewers, for anyone that's listening, and maybe you can comment, how often do you change your furniture in this style in your place? When I say that, like, move the couches a different
Arrangements.
way, move your end tables a different way. I mean, I'm sure the beds stay in a certain way, but how often do you like, I think
Comforters,
I want to
pillows,
change, how the chairs look. I want to change the tables. I want to change the chairs. I want to change each ornament. Maybe I just do that every, 2 months, 3 months, year, or maybe just the house stays the same. Like my mom's house looks like it's been there since, the early 80s, but that's my mom's way. And I know that's a bit extreme of not changing. But what would you say, viewers? Do you ever feel that urge to want to constantly change? Because I don't have that familiarity. Honey has it where I feel it's like a cycle every couple of months, and I'm getting used to it, where I'm just not attached to
not every
anything.
couple of months, more like if I've gone through an internal
So it's
transformation.
been every couple of months.
I have to, when it's a special measurement, I have to, the outside has to reflect it. And especially the last 20 years, as I go through it, I just have to adjust it. Otherwise, it doesn't feel like to. I already feel we have to move already because we've changed again. And I love that feeling. But viewers can certainly respond to that. And I'm very aware for some people this is very difficult.
I think for most people, change is difficult. I think people like to stay in their comfort zones, and like when change comes, it almost feels like you have to let things go, which people usually like to keep things. And what I always say is people keep things so much where we didn't realize that we're like all of a sudden filling up spaces that we don't need anymore. So I do appreciate your change. I do appreciate it because it does give a difference of not being attached to things and at the same time changing the scenery. I just look forward to the day that, we maybe have a couple houses and, one house can just stay a certain way and another house you can change all you want and have some private assistants with you and they can do everything that you say. And
your muscles have been amazing,
and I
Michael.
could be in the
It's
other
so
house in my home. I can
appreciated.
just say it's springtime and I have several assistants that are all helping.
Let's talk about something here. So this is for you viewers. Last week you got a chance to hear my cousin, this week actually, my cousin Tara being on with a friend Zora. We talked about Iran. And really thank you, by the way. That was like the most amount of listeners I had. So thank you so much for that special episode. And I want to tie this to this. So when we left Iran, we migrated out of Iran. The way we left it, absolutely nothing. It was my mom had one suitcase, and me and my brother had little tiny suitcases, small, like carry-ons. Our entire life, like my bedroom, toys, like nothing. There was nothing. So that was the first time, and as I experienced complete loss, like complete loss. And I've gone through a few cycles like this, where that also taught me a few things. That experience taught me that as long as I'm standing, I can create everything again. So there is no attachment. And I created better, always greater, even more fantastic. So there is no limit to what can be created. And I love the way it's like that God Almighty moves through me and I express it in another way. And it really started with that. Out of nothing, have to create, out of nothing. And when we first came, we had nothing. So, some of you know I was on food stamp. We had like my aunt came and tried to get us like from Goodwill, like even like mattress and stuff. And it's so weird being so wealthy and coming here to like completely poor. Like it's just the shocking of it is so shocking. So, but it really taught me it humbled and taught me not to be attached. I can do it again. So I've gone through that. I've gone through several times, even with businesses, not be attached. So I don't have that attachment because I have this 100% trust that when that comes to an end, I can express again, and again, and I'll do it in the most amazing way. So there's no attachment to that. And I appreciate the shift, because what I found is when I go through this internal change, right? Especially if, let's say, I've met some of you may be relating to this. What I found is if I've gone through an interpersonal experience where there was something particularly deep, part of my, let's say, childhood or teenage years that was really traumatic, and I was able to courageously meet it, face it, and have it take healing inside of me, where it transformed when God Almighty came into that and this space opened up. What happens is then when I look at my living space, that represents the old that was created. So when I come in, it doesn't match. It's like it's wrong. So I have to rearrange things, reshape, move things so it matches my new state that's much more open. And this is why I do that, because then my thoughts are better, my emotions are. Otherwise, it's a like it's how do you call it?
Mismatch.
It's a mismatch of a frequency, and it doesn't flow. So, and I've seen this, and you've seen this. Whenever I put that into action right away, open it up, what's the next thing? More amazing projects come, more clients, more abundance, more. It just floodgate opens up, and that's been with me.
I mean, it feels like it's a good metaphor when we look at, springtime, and as we clear the gardens of the old weeds, or we clear the ditches so that we invite what is now being seed within. And it's really exciting, I feel, in this time for many of us, because it's as we know what we're moving into, that springtime energy is really this abundant rebirth, expansion. And I feel what I appreciate about this is when we're ahead of the game, in which we're like really digging our ditches and allowing ourselves to prepare what's before us.
Prepare to receive the goodness, the greatness of God Almighty.
Right. And then the more we're open and have more space, then that greater abundance gets to flourish. Just as like we clear the gardens, open up the space for the new flowers, then when it blooms, there's this place to flourish. And I feel that's one thing I love about the springtime, because it's so beautiful when not only the outside is just being bloomed with areas, but I feel most of us, when that warmth comes, when that change comes, when we come out of the darker days and the evenings light up, then all of a sudden there becomes this greater joy and happiness. And I feel even that creativity time really starts to spur in a whole new way, because we're feeling lighter and jovial. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, look at these opportunities that are coming, because we've created that opportunity to say, what am I now allowing to expand myself into? And I feel this time period, it's even greater because of this year of 2026-01. And what we notice is this celebration energy that we see that's continuing. And when I say celebration energy, it's that inward celebration of that God Almighty within us. And that God Almighty is here to celebrate beyond what the current circumstances are or what the outer environment might look like. It's that infinite presence that's allowing us to know that it is the supply of everything that we want to create, everything that we want to bring forth, and it's just of infinite potential. And when we really harness that, then it allows us to open up the opportunities of like, wow, where do I want to bring greater expression, greater levels of that ability to see what God is offering me each day, how it's being presented, and where I want to move into. And to me, you said it earlier this morning of like, how can you please God in that way, where it's giving us the opportunity to really let that come through us?
I'm really glad you said that, Michael, especially for viewers. This is really important, because I truly feel that way. And especially when I mentor others, when I'm doing like deep life mentoring with someone, this is the space that I really address, because for me, when the reason why I like the house so clean, the reason why I like it so organized, the reason why I like it so impeccable, because I am I am standing in the witness of God Almighty, and I love when I can feel God Almighty so pleased, because God Almighty can come to a beautiful space. When we are creating something beautiful and wonderful, and 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 that just exudes that prosperous space, that's God Almighty. When it's like messy and it's like darker, or if it's not glowing, or there's no flowers and all that, you can't experience. It's hard to experience God Almighty there. So for me, that to me, the most sanctuary place needs to be in your home, your bedroom, your living room. So sanctuary. That's why, like, whoever, have you ever heard any person coming to our place not being like, wow, I feel so good here? We haven't even had one. That's what, because it's a frequency where God Almighty comes in, and there's all these meditation and prayer we do every morning. So for me, every morning is like, wow, this is in your honor, truly your honor, God Almighty. And I want to touch up on something also in here. So we talked about celebration. We talked about the fire hearse, right? Like that is here. And this is probably the hardest thing that I want to say. Growing up, Michael, I was taught culturally, especially family, if, for example, you are having a celebration, don't really share it, don't make other people uncomfortable, all of that. And this is a lot of stuff that we cover when we teach the mentorship every month on the True Prosperous Living. By the way, our next True Prosperous Living mentorship is 2 weeks from today. So it is on the 25th of March. It's at 3 p.m. All of you are welcome to join, sign up for it. It is $188 a month. And we really go deep in the true prosperous state from God Almighty. So coming back here, this celebration was always like not to bring it, especially in the Middle East. You're going to get the evil eye and all of that stuff. Now, I want to tie this to something. There was another part of it too. When people are hurting and suffering, do not show celebration. When people are going hard time, don't be in celebration, which you've heard me talk about. And in this now, as the Persian New Year is coming, it's on the 20th. My heart really is for the Iranian people in two areas. One, the ones that are in the US, in all these other countries, the majority that are in celebration that there is a change taking place. And also my heart is for those who are actually very concerned about what is taking place, the retaliation, as well as more bombing over Iran. And then my other part is, how are the people who are in Iran going to celebrate the New Year's there? So there is that. We got a chance to finally, my mom got a chance to talk to her brother. I don't know if I told you, in Iran. And he said, it was so beautiful. He said, they are celebrating. They're going to have Nowruz. They're going to celebrate it all out because they're so excited about this change. They are willing for all these bombs to be dropped. Because this current condition of the Islamic Republic of Iran, the fundamentalists, is by far worse. After 47 years, they've done with it. So they rather have that, and they're choosing to celebrate.
That's great.
Now, why I'm bringing this up is because as we're here, as we're clearing this, as we're opening space, as I'm preparing for the New Year's next week, Friday, I'm still choosing to remain in celebration.
That's beautiful.
While knowing all of this is happening, and celebrating for those who can't celebrate.
Beautiful.
Holding that vision as celebration. So for me, it's like even deeper this year than ever before. And I just thank you so much for helping the cleaning, the carpets. It really means a lot. And again, like if you really look at it, this just come to me. When we're clearing the floor, like if you really understand the depth of it, we're clearing the floor, right? Because what are we stepping on?
Right.
We're not stepping on dirt anymore.
Yeah.
We're stepping on purity, right? More, not that it was before, it's just we're stepping into this new, that's clean walk. It's like a different walk, right? The metaphor of it is amazing.
And I appreciate how you say celebrate, even for those I can't celebrate, because culturally sometimes people look around us and say, how can you celebrate in light of all this devastation? How can you celebrate in times of war? How can you celebrate? And I feel it comes down to a point is celebration is our natural ability to seize life every single day. We can celebrate every aspect of our God-given nature. Celebrate our hands to serve, our feet to walk, our ability to really honor what God has given us. And so I feel every win, every opportunity that we get to celebrate is glorifying what has been placed within us. And so as we look at this springtime, this spring equinox, the Persian New Year, and even everything that happens to the day, ask yourself, what is it that I can celebrate more of? How can I end the day and say, how can I celebrate my day even greater tomorrow for maybe areas that I didn't acknowledge today? Or what awareness can I bring into so that that celebration energy can provide that momentum of thriving, expanding, and excelling? Because sometimes, we've been taught to be modest or humble, and that's beautiful. But at the same time, if we're not celebrating everything that we are achieving or even the hardships in life that we're overcoming, then we're fully not appreciating what's before us. And I feel that celebration energy is very close to the gratitude of what we get to experience, what we get to in this life.
That's right.
It's an opportunity that I feel that we can really help that, because if anything, that celebration energy becomes contagious and we get to share that.
That's right.
Within our community.
Right.
As we celebrate,
Amen.
all those that are listening, as we celebrate the greatness that's before us. And really what I feel is our monumental right is to celebrate the goodness, so that goodness can get a greater light and exposure than to maybe the things in life that pull us down in our common day-to-day reactions. So
exactly.
Look to see what you can celebrate, honor that, because I celebrate that this is one of the most monumental times of spring, where it's like all of a sudden we know there's going to be this just burst of life. And when we're in that burst of life inward, I feel like there's this inertia that starts to accelerate even faster, because we're not only growing outside with it, but we're surging within us of all the areas that we've cleaned and open ourselves up to now to ignite what that springtime goes all the way to the summer solstice.
I love that. And don't you feel, Michael, and together with the audience, we are again changing this old program conditioning. Just because something is happening, no, we can't celebrate. Who says we cannot? Who came up with that? We can still go through a difficult time and still celebrate. We can be hurting and still celebrate. This is something that I taught in my women's group as well. So there is this and who said it has to be this theater? Who came up with that? And let's challenge that. Why not? God Almighty every day is celebrating us, is here. It is up to us what we choose. We can go through things and still choose to celebrate. Like, did you see the 2 weeks that I could barely walk? I mean, it was painful, but I chose to remain in celebration. Yeah. And you know what? With that attitude, your entire body's functioning better. You heal faster. Things move better. Then why not? Why not choose that as an option?
It's an elevated frequency.
Totally.
That really brings joy and happiness.
So it's not, it doesn't mean you don't have compassion. I feel if anything, you have compassion, and from that you extend the greatness even better. It's much more uplifting. Why not?
And it feels wonderful.
Exactly. So as we embrace these next few days. We welcome you to embrace and just give yourself opportunity. Go through your closets, go through your car, go through your drawers.
Go through your limited beliefs and old emotions and patterns that you want to say, no longer do I want to carry these.
Exactly.
So that I can release them, give them back to where they started. Give it to God, write it down, plant them, burn them. Give yourself the permission to release what no longer you need.
You know why it's easy to start with the drawers and closet, Michael? Because when we physically touch them, there's so much energy with these clothes and stuff. When you start that, the emotions start to move and the mental start to move. So and you know what? Here's another tip. Remember, I was sharing for you, beautiful viewers. Go ahead and upgrade a little bit. It doesn't need to be in the thousands, but if you want, go do that. Upgrade, few $100s. Upgrade maybe your sheets, upgrade pillows, upgrade flowers, upgrade. Let the blessings of blossoming come into your life. If you keep it the same, you're going to keep doing what you've been doing. If you allow yourself to take a couple of steps, you're going to create that change. And that change would only benefit you and benefit everybody else around you. So that's for us. And we have, next time we'll be recording this, you will be having your men's circle, right?
Right, on the last Thursday of the month,
which is the 26th.
I'll be having my next online Conscious Evolve men's circle.
This last one was amazing.
It was great. We had a great amount of men from the East Coast to the West Coast, all the way down to Florida, and just a great connection of men that have come together really to, what I see, connect in a greater version, that we share topics and allow each other to dive into areas where I feel most men don't have that opportunity, because it's a safe, sacred space that we get to be authentic, real, transparent, and most important, support one another in these days of conscious evolution, change, transformation. And when you put one or more, even great men of leaders and change makers, then it adds to the fire of what we can do to help promote what I see, the greater leaders coming together.
I love it. And that's your free circle. It's so beautiful that you've been doing it. It's like 9 years now. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
I feel like it's the start of what I see even greater portions of working with men, and just seeing that, there's a lot of men that are hungry to have areas that we can talk about that we may not see so common in our outer environment, but we can come together easily in the comfort of our home and connect heart to heart all over the country, all over the world. So
and the ones that want to go deeper, they can definitely do your course, because that's the 12 module.
So there's a 12 course, Conscious Evolve Men, and 12 self-guided series that have these principles that have allowed me to see that greater version of myself. And for those that are interested, can easily email us at info@ascensionalalchemist.com.
Well, I'll put the link there. They can actually just purchase it right from the link. It's easy.
And then, recently some men have called and have wanted to dive deeper into one-on-one work with my life mentorship. And I love that, because I feel like you and like what we can do is, many of us, because we're going through these shifts and changes of season to season, that it's important to speak to those that have walked that path and really help navigate those through powerful ways that we can really support one another in our higher growth, in our higher expression.
Mentoring is so important.
And I feel like it's become such a gift that Honi and I can do that, not only individually but together. So
it's great, because we have our own mentors, and then we get to mentor other in different areas. We all support each other in that way. I love that. I love that. So lots of blessings to all of you, dear hearts, and thank you so much. Just thank you for being you. Thank you for all that you allow in your life, and
thank you for celebrating yourself. Maybe when you hear this call, and you can really think deeper as you're cleaning or as you're shifting into the spring, when you're doing this, come back once again, because it is a theme, is what can I celebrate within me that's always been there? What has God given me from day one that I know that when people are around me, or I get the opportunity to be with family, that they look up to me in a certain way, that I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful to have this gift or this skill or this special art or this creative side of me that I get to celebrate, because really it's very, I feel like we could celebrate so much more. And the more we do that, it's this celebration of that God-given energy that's within us. And when we give that back, it's like this refuel.
You're talking about give that back to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I love that, because just taking a few moments, dare to celebrate yourself in that authenticity in the presence of God Almighty. It's not because you deserve it, none of that. Just celebrate that you allowed, and rejoice in it.
Yeah.
Rejoice. Yeah.
So thank you all for joining on this wonderful day, this spring-like time where
it was summer, Michael. It was 87 degrees. It was summer, Michael.
they're calling for snow tomorrow.
It's a great, I love it. Amazing contrast. So lots of love to all of you. Thank you so much. As always, please, for those of you who are not on our newsletter, be sure to get on our newsletter. It's in the show notes. And thank you so much for your questions, for your comments. And this episode, if it served your heart, please always share it. Download it, share it with others. It always benefits. Make sure you tag us so we know we can thank you for it, because this community is all about helping and sharing with others. We put these out for free so that you can all benefit, and we wanted to spread out to others. Together we make this place a much more beautiful place, and it is a celebration.
A beautiful celebration of life. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Much love, everyone. Have a blessed night.